Hey everyone, welcome or welcome back to the Missy Money channel. My name's Missy and I'm a mom of 3 and the owner of Missy Money, a small business that specializes in minimalist and aesthetic cash stuffing essentials to help inspire and motivate you on your personal finance journey. Today I'm going to be doing my category and binder reset for 2025 and also completing a cash condensing at the same time. I'll also be starting 2 new savings challenges, so if you're interested in learning more, stay tuned. All right, guys, so this is a really ambitious video. I have never filmed a video like this. I've done a reset like this, but I've never filmed it. And so I'm just going to say right up front that I'm going into this expecting that it could be a little bit messy, but we're going to work through it. So here's everything that I'm going to be doing today. I'm going to be changing up my categories in transitioning a bunch of categories, simplifying my system down from 3 sinking fund binders to 2 sinking fund binders. And I'm also going to be starting 2 new savings challenges. And in the midst of all of that, I'm going to attempt to do a cash condensing and have that all reconcile at the end. So I'm going to ask for grace because this is probably a little bit too ambitious, but we will work our way through it. So I am really, really excited though for this reset. I've been talking about wanting to kind of just simplify my system a bit. And I tend to do this reset every single year because I find that through the course of the year, I'll kind of add categories or switch categories or do, a few things here and there. And then after using that system for a few months, I kind of learn what does and doesn't work for me. And if there are new categories that I need, I have a chance to add those as well. So I always use the new calendar year as a way to reset before I stuff my first paycheck of January. And so I am going to go ahead and get started. The way that I'm going to do this, because I have so many categories and so many sinking funds that are changing, I think the best thing to do is to actually unstuff everything and go ahead and restuff when I've got my new categories in my new binders. Essentially, I've done a map of all of my current categories. I'm going to unstuff them and write the amounts that are in each of those envelopes. And then I've got a flow chart of the money that's in the old categories, where that money is flowing in my new setup. And so then I'm going to restuff that cash into my new category envelopes. And as I do that stuffing, I'm going to do a condensing at the same time. But step 1 is going to be to unstuff all of my sinking fund binders. And then I'm going to count and write the category, how much was in that, and how much was in that envelope. The denominations don't matter to me, so I'm not going to be marking that. I'm just using this cash planning pad because it's got a place for me to list categories and amount. So I'm going to go ahead and do that first with my long-term sinking funds. So it looks like if I put it there, you can still see it. So I'm just going to go ahead and speed through this. All right, so before I move on to my short-term sinking funds, there are a couple of things I'm going to highlight. So emergency is actually not going back into any other sinking fund, and I'll explain why when I get there. But that is actually going to go straight to the bank because emergency has been fully funded. And then Christmas and holidays are actually not going to go to a sinking fund either. So I just want to mark those with different colors so I remember to do what I need to do with those. But those are going to go into starting my holiday savings challenge at the end of this video. So that's going to be super exciting. So now that I've marked those, I'm going to go ahead and pull out my short-term binder here, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing. I'm going to give it a count and then just record as I am marking off how much I'm pulling out of each of these envelopes. All right, so last I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing for my kids binder. All right, guys. So that is it for unstuffing my 3 sinking fund binders. In this next step, what I'm going to be doing is setting up my new binders with my new envelopes. And some of my envelopes are carryovers from my past setup, but some of them are new. And a lot of them are actually getting, the envelopes themselves are getting condensed into fewer categories because I just want to simplify my system. So in this next step, I'm going to be setting up my new binders with my new categories in those binders. And then I'm also going to be restuffing based on which categories in my old system are flowing to the categories in my new system and doing a condensing at the same time. So I can't fit everything on screen. So I will move things onto the screen as soon as I'm able. But for this step, I'm going to set up the binders. And then as I stuff, I'm going to be pulling cash from up here. I put the cash up there. And then I'm going to be marking off the old categories as I stuff to make sure that all of the money that I took from the old categories are going into my new setup and my new system. So first, we are going to tackle my long-term binder. And for my long-term binder, I decided that I wanted to do my caramel color here, and I am going to actually put in one of my new dashboards. So I don't have my dashboard covers in yet, my frosted dashboard covers, but I will add one when I get those in. But for now, I'm gonna do my cozy dashboard just because I think it goes really nicely. The browns go really nicely together. So I am going to have that as my dashboard in this binder. And then my categories in this binder, and it's going to take me a second to flip through and find these. So my categories in this binder are going to be medical. My next category is going to be insurance, home, and then car. So all of those are carryovers from my previous long-term sinking funds. And then I've got some new ones that I'm going to add to this binder. So I have got subscriptions. Now, subscriptions for me are going to be annual subscriptions in this long-term sinking fund binder. I have some monthly subscriptions that I account for in my bills when I do my paycheck planning and denomination planning every single week and my monthly goals. So my monthly subscriptions I account for as just monthly bills, but my yearly subscriptions I want to have a separate category for. So I'm going to have subscriptions in here. And then I also have a new category called annual passes. And actually it was somebody ordered this from the store and I loved calling it that because I had been calling it memberships, which kind of encompassed a few things, but I loved calling it out specifically as annual passes for the family. So those are new categories. And then I went ahead and moved the birthdays category over here because the kids sinking fund binder is one that I'm going to be collapsing into long-term and short-term sinking funds in a few different places. So I'm going to go ahead and put birthdays in here as well. And then the last category that I'm going to be putting into here is going to be actually 2 more categories. I'm going to put kindness projects into this binder. And then I'm also going to put clothing into this binder. And again, I'm collapsing our clothing categories between our adult clothing and our kids clothing the intention was good for us to separate those out, but in reality, we're just kind of spending the same money. So I love how this looks with the dashboard. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. I love that. I intentionally made the dashboards the same exact size as the envelopes because I thought if there was any hangover that it would get kind of like creased and just worn. And I love that it's the same size. I think that looks so nice and clean. So I super love this look. So now we are going to go through and we are going to stuff based on how we are sourcing the funds for each of these categories. Okay, so our medical envelope is getting both the medical from our previous and then the kids medical. So 470 plus 480, which is $950. So what I'm actually going to do is I am going to pull a $500 placeholder, and then I will pull $450. So that'll be $950. And I will pop that into medical. All right, insurance, and actually, I'm gonna give myself one more color here, and then I'm gonna highlight those categories when I have restuffed them. And then I am gonna start a list of the placeholders that I have, so I know at the end when I do my reconciliation how much I should have in cash. Okay, insurance. So insurance is just getting the $40 that it previously had, which is an easy one. Home is getting the $330 that it previously had, but we will go ahead and condense that. From what it was. 1, 2, 3, 30. Perfect. And then car is getting the $235 that it previously had, but we will condense that as well. And 100, 200, 20, 35. Beautiful. And then subscriptions is starting out with half of what memberships had, and then annual passes is getting the other half. So let's see what memberships had. Memberships only had 45. So I'm going to go ahead and put 20 of that into subscriptions. And I'll put 25 of that into annual passes. And then, whoop, and then that will take care of memberships. I told you this was going to be a little crazy, guys. Okay, birthdays. Birthdays had $400 in it, and so I will go ahead and condense that. 100, 250, 350, 400 into birthdays. And then kindness projects is getting both what it had, and then it's also getting Shop Small, because I decided that anything that I do from Shop Small will come from either kindness projects or gifts, depending on what it's for. So I'm gonna go ahead and add up. So that should be $150. So I'm gonna do 350s for that one, I think. 1, 2, 3. That will take care of kindness projects and Shop Small. And then clothing. So clothing is getting both what we had for the kids clothing and then what we had for adult clothing saved up. So we had 135 plus 290. So I'm actually going to do this in a mix of bills, I think. I think I'm going to do 250s and then 220s, only because when I make clothing purchases, I tend to do that on cards because we do a lot of shopping for clothing online, and I need a mix of bills when I do that. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200. All right. All right, so let's make sure that this is 400. Oh, I needed 425. Just kidding. Okay, let's make sure this is 425 now. So 50, 100, 50, 200, 20, 40, 60, 80, 300, 20, 40, 60, 80, 425. Okay, so that is perfect, and that'll be great for this. Okay, and then I can mark off clothing there, and we can mark off clothing there. Both of those are accounted for. Perfect. So this is my new binder for my long-term sinking funds, and I'm super excited about it. I love how it looks. All right, so for my short-term sinking funds, I've decided to use my tote binder, and I'm gonna go ahead and start out by popping in my knitted dashboard, which I just think is super fun, and I loved like the taupe with those colors. I thought it went really nicely. So the other one I was thinking about for this one was my midnight binder, which because it has some of the blues, but I kind of liked the taupe with it. So we're gonna roll with that. All right, so for this binder, I am going to start out with shopping, and then next is getting date night. Next is going to be family fun, and then I have a new category that's going in. It is beauty and grooming, and then I am going to take self-care in this binder. Lola and Luna are going in as well. And then I will have gifts, and then school I am taking, and then oops is a new category that's going in. And this was another one I copied off of somebody that ordered custom envelopes because I loved it, but they did oops for their miscellaneous, which I just thought was fun and accurate. So so those are the categories that are going to be in my short-term sinking funds. Okay, so let's go ahead and stuff these. So shopping is just getting what it started with, which is $130. So I will go ahead and condense that. Oh. Actually, you know what? In this binder, I'm just going to give myself a little bit more grace and flexibility in some categories. So for that one, I'm going to do 250 is a 20 and a 10. Date night is getting 200 of the 385. The reason I'm doing that is because that envelope just got built up, frankly, higher than we needed it to. So I'm going to pull 185 of that and put it into my oops. And I'm going to do that while I remember. So do 150, 70, 80, 5, and we will pop that into oops. There's going to be more going into that, but we're going to do it as we go here so we can stay on top of it. Okay, so date night is now taken care of. Family fun is getting, all right, family fun is getting the 195 that it had in there, and then it's also getting all of the kids' individual amounts. So this is one bigger change that I made, is going from having the kids separate envelopes to just having a combined family fun envelope. I think when they're a little bit older and they're like earning, you know, money and doing chores or little jobs to have their own envelopes, I think it'll be a little bit different, and we are going to do the kids savings challenges with them, so that'll be an opportunity for them to have their own little binder. But with those individual savings challenges and then with the family fun envelope, those individual envelopes at their ages were feeling a little bit repetitive. So we are going to go ahead and add all of that up together, which is $320. So I'm going to do that as 2 100s, 2 50s, and then I'm going to do a 20. So that'll be 320 in family fun, which is good. We will be pulling from this envelope more often this way, so have that a little bit built up. So that takes care of those 3. And then beauty and grooming is getting half of what was in self-care plus haircut. So that'll be 130 plus haircut was at 60, so that'll be 190. So I'll do a 100, a 50, and 2 20s for that. All right, and then self-care will get the other half of that, so that'll be 130. And then we're just gonna mark that off so I do not forget. Oh. All right, Lola and Luna are just getting what they had, which is 340. So I'm gonna go ahead and do 3 $100 bills and $40 for them. Gifts is just getting what it had as well. I am going to keep that as 3 20s, just so I've got the flexibility in that one. All right. School is getting what school and teacher gifts had. I'm just going to go ahead and merge those. So that together will be 270. So I'm going to do 100, 350s, and a 20, just for a little bit of flexibility in that one. So 150, 250, 270. All right, and then see what I've got here. Miscellaneous is getting 50, so I'm going to pop that into my oops. And that takes care of that. And then the only thing I have left is activities, which is 85, which I think I intended to fold into family fun. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. So we are going to add 85. So I'll do that as a 50, a 20, a 10, and a 5. 50, a 20, a 10, and a 5. Perfect. All right. And then that takes care of everything we unstuffed, and it is officially all into the 2 new binders. All right, guys, so I'm going to set this to the side, and I'm going to take all of the cash that I've got left over here, and this is going to be my reconciliation pile for my cash condensing. So in this pile, I should have $2,000. Now that $2,000 comes from, I started this cash condensing by pulling out $1,500 from the bank, 10 $100 bills, and then 10 $50 bills. So $1,500 in total that I need to get back to put into the bank. And then I put a $500 placeholder into the medical envelope. And so there should be another $500 placeholder worth of cash in here as well. That should have come out because I now have that placeholder in. So $2,000 should be my total here. I'm going to go ahead and move this to the side, and we're going to give this a count. I did a lot as I did this, so no promises it ends up this way, but if I restuffed all of my new categories correctly, then that is what we should have. So let me just put this in the correct order here. When I stacked it, I didn't do that. Okay, so let me go ahead and give this a count, and we'll see how close we got. I'm going to do 2 stacks of 1,000. So 100, 200, 300, 50, 400, 20, 40, 60, 80, 500, 20, 40, 60, 80, 600, 20, 40, 60, 80, 700, 20, 40, 60, 80, 800, 20, 40, 60, 80, 900, 20, 40, 60, 80, 1000. 20, 40, 60, 81, 20, 40, 60, 82, 20, 40, 60, 83, 20, 40, 60, 84, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 95, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 96, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 7, 10, oh boy, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 8, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 9, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95. I cannot believe that worked out. Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have $2,000 from cash condensing. Again, $1,500 of that was my starting cash, and then $500 from the placeholder that went into medical. So this is exactly right. But this is not the last thing that we have to do. So I am actually going to take a pause from filming. It is super late. And I will come back in the morning and we will do the very last step that I need to do to set up my system. All right, guys, sorry for the delay there, but we are back and ready to close out the last couple of steps I need to do to get ready for my new 2025 setup. So as I mentioned, as I was pulling out envelopes, I no longer need an emergency fund envelope because my emergency fund has been fully funded between sinking fund savings as well as finishing out my last 2 savings challenges and using those savings challenge funds to close that out. So I'm going to take the $860 that I had in my emergency fund sinking fund, which includes a $500 placeholder, which have our funds allocated already in the bank, and then cash, and I'm going to go ahead and deposit that into the bank, and that will reimburse my emergency fund back to where I originally had it before the couple of things happened this year. So that is what I'm going to be doing with these funds. And then finally, there are 2 other category funds that I need to make sure that I move into my new setup. So this pile was from my Christmas sinking fund. It's got $160 in it. And then this pile was from my holiday sinking fund, and that has $40 in it. So in order to get these funds into their new home, I need to set up my new savings challenge. So let me go ahead and put this to the side, and I need to go select a binder for that. All right, I'm not sure that I'm going to stick with this, but for right now, I am going to use my olive binder. So I'm going to go ahead and first, I'm actually going to set this to the side. And I'm going to pull out my actual savings challenge here. So this is my holidays savings challenge. I am super excited about it because this is a new savings challenge for me. So this just recently got brought to the shop, I think in November. Yeah, November-ish. So it is time for us to fill it out and set savings challenge goals for this one. So my holiday savings challenge, and really any savings challenge, is going to come with an envelope that gives you a place to put kind of the cover of the savings challenge pack plus the instructions, and I like to use that as sort of a little almost like a dashboard for the savings challenge. So I'm just going to pop that in here, and that'll be the first one. Okay, we are close to New Year's, and we are actually not doing anything for New Year's this year because we are going to be watching the Ohio State game. We're going to be watching Ohio State further advance into the college football playoffs. I'm speaking it into existence. Frankly, I don't have time to save for this. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the back because I am going to save for New Year's, but I'm going to be saving for New Year's for the following year. So the first one that I am going to actively save for is Valentine's Day. So for each challenge, I'm going to set a total savings challenge goal and divide it by 50, and that will tell me how much each of my symbols is worth on each of my challenges. So for Valentine's Day, we don't need a lot. Dana and I actually aren't big Valentine's Day people. So we like won't go out to dinner or anything. We'll just cook a dinner for our family, and then we'll probably get the kids, like put together little cute Valentine's Day things for the kids. And then the kids also bring in little Valentine's Day snacks or treats for their class. So I'm gonna go ahead and I think I'm gonna do, I'll just do $2 per heart, which means that this total saving challenge will be $100, which should be plenty. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop that in. St. Patrick's Day. We honestly don't really do anything big for St. Patrick's Day, so I'm not going to do that one. Easter, we do, so I'm going to do $5 for that one, just in case we end up hosting or bringing something over to my mom's house. That gives us enough to do something for the kids, and then also gives us the opportunity to bring something over or host if we need to host. Cinco de Mayo, I'm gonna actually put to the side. I do love that, but we haven't done anything with that in the past couple of years. I'm just gonna put, this cap is not staying on my pen, so I'm gonna put that to the side. Mother's Day, okay, so Mother's Day, $5 again for that. That'll give us plenty of flexibility. For that. All right, and then Father's Day, I think I'm going to also do, let's do $5 for that one as well. That'll give me $250 for Father's Day, which I think will be good. 4th of July, we usually do fireworks. We don't need a ton for this, but let's go ahead and do $2 a piece for that. Halloween, we probably should do, you know what, this is probably a little bit of overkill, but we're going to do $10 per ghostie on that one, just because we do kind of 2 sets of costumes. We do costumes, a family costume for trick-or-treating. We let the kids pick their costume for school, and then we also, you know, kind of host and do a little bit of sometimes we host. We haven't in the past couple of years, but sometimes we'll have people over while we do the trick-or-treating. So that just gives us a little bit of flexibility if we need that. Thanksgiving, I'm just going to do $5 per turkey leg, because we usually are just in charge. We go over to my mom's, but we usually, mom and dad's, but we usually just do, you know, wine and things like that to bring over. So that should be good for Thanksgiving. Christmas, I need to do some math. Give me a second. Christmas, I'm going to do $40 this year. That is more than I have historically done, but that will give me $2,000, which I'm okay if I over save for Christmas. So I will go ahead and do that. Awesome. The big game, I am going to save for this one for maybe the college football playoff this year. Maybe we'll host. I'm not sure. I'm going to go ahead and let's do $5 on that one. And I'm actually going to move this one up because we're just going to assume that the Buckeyes are making the college football playoff or championship. And we're going to roll with that belief, and I'll save for it until it's not true. All right, the cookout. So I'm going to use this one, I think, for like a Memorial Day or just a kind of a summer hosting weekend. And so I think I'm going to do $5 for that one. What I love about the cookout challenge is this is a flex challenge. So you could use it for Juneteenth, Memorial Day, Veterans Day, just any summer grill out, cookout situation that you've got going on. So I love having that as a flex challenge. Celebrate, we are going to use for our anniversary. So I am going to do $15 per symbol on this one, which will give us a chance to do something a little bit bigger for our anniversary again. So I am going to do 15 on that one. And I am going to tuck that one. I'm going to have these so that they're chronological in order of how we will celebrate them through the year. So I'm going to tuck that one where it belongs for that. And then New Year's, let's just do, I don't know. What do we want to do for New Year's? Let's do, again, this is probably oversaving, but let's do $5 for that one. And we will go ahead and pop that in. All right, so the only two I didn't do were Cinco de Mayo and St. Patrick's Day, just because those aren't big ones for us in our current life stage. We don't get out much. But we will go ahead and pop those in. You know what? I take that back. I am going to do St. Patrick's Day because my family, my sister and brother-in-law, own a brewery, and they opened on St. Patrick's Day. So every single year they kind of have like their happy anniversary. So we usually do go there and at least just to say hi and help them celebrate. They're on like year 8 of that, I think, of the brewery, which is crazy. I like help them open it, like legitimately blood, sweat, and tears into that place to get it open. And they, now it is like on its own and off to the races, which is pretty awesome. So I'm just going to do $1 for each symbol for that, because it'll just be $50. That'll be enough for us to go and get a beer. We usually can't stay there super long because we usually are taking the kids and they don't have that long of an attention span at a brewery that isn't really built for kids, but we do like to go say hi and just congratulate for them for that accomplishment. So so I am going to add St. Patrick's Day back in, and then I am trying to think if there's a reason for us to put Cinco de Mayo in. I don't think so. I don't think that I might change my mind on that, so I'm just going to put it in the back of the stack. And then we will go ahead here and pop this all into our binder, and then I will be able to contribute that cash. So let's pop this in. I just realized this is going to be a really long video. Kudos to any of you who are sticking with me through all of this. All right, let's get our cash, and then let's actually contribute here. I want to see what this looks like. Oh, that's pretty with the plant. Okay, I like the olive. Olive was a good choice. I also like the olive just with the like holidays, since I've got the tree as the cover here. Okay, you know what? I've also got some really pretty like winter dashboards. That would be a pretty dashboard for this too. I'm not going to do that right now, but I might change my mind and do that later. Okay, let's go ahead and put our Christmas funds in here. So I decided for this challenge, I'm going to do the same thing that I did for the Magical Vacation Savings Challenge, and I'm just going to fill in part of the symbol and do it all in black ink. So I don't have the marker again situation like I did with my 52-week savings challenge this past year, where I have a different color marker halfway through, and it drives me banana pants crazy because I'm just not built for that. So so I have $160 from my previous Christmas sinking funds that I am going to contribute to the Christmas savings challenge. So let's just count and make sure that's what I've got. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60. So 160 going into the Christmas savings challenge. So with each symbol at $40, that means I get to fill in 4 symbols. Oh my gosh, that looks so cute. Black was a good choice. Very happy with that. Okay, let's pop this in. And it is a week after Christmas, and we've already got a good head start on that. Oh my gosh, that's so cute. That's so cute. Okay, let's go back to the front, because the ones at the front are the ones that I am going to need to get after here fairly quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and save for the big game. Again, I'm putting this out on the line. Hopefully I have to use these dollars for something. So so we're going to go ahead and fill in. I'm going to do $30 for the big game. Each symbol's worth 5. So I'm going to do 6 symbols on this one. All right.
So we've got 30 saved for that. Willing that into existence. And then last, I'm going to put $10 towards Valentine's Day, just because that's the next challenge that would be coming up. So I've got each Valentine's Day symbol set at $2. So with $10 available, I'm going to go ahead and fill in this first row. All right, guys, so that is it for Valentine's Day for that $10, which is awesome. We'll definitely be able to get that done and ready by the time that we need it. So that is it for setting up my holiday savings challenge and getting my contributions that were previously in sinking fund envelopes into my holiday savings challenge to give me a little boost and a head start there. So I am super excited about that one. All right, so let's do a 2025 starting lineup recap. So my wallet is staying the same. I'm going to stay in my same black wallet. I'm not going to change any of my category envelopes for now. That could and likely will change in 2025, which is a little bit cryptic and a little bit of a hint, but wallet is staying the same. I've simplified my sinking funds from 3 binders down to 2. So I've got my short-term sinking fund binder and then my long-term sinking fund binder. And then I've expanded my savings challenges. So I will be repeating 2 savings fund challenges. I've got the 52-week reset and restocked. So I'm ready to begin my 52-week savings challenge again. So that will be a repeat. The 12-month savings challenge will also be a repeat. So we will start that one up as well. I will continue my magical vacation savings challenge. I just switched the binder around this one. So we will continue saving towards that. And then I'm adding 2 savings challenges to the lineup. So you saw me in this video begin the first one. So we've got the holiday savings challenge and have already started contributing to that one. So we will continue the holiday savings challenge through 2025. And then last but not least, I decided that I'm going to keep a mini savings challenge in my rotation as well. So I've got lots of new mini savings challenges that I dropped in the shop. The first one that I'm going to start with is the 13 savings challenge, which is just saving $13 every single time you contribute. I'm going to contribute $13 every single week. There are 10 icons here, so it'll take me 10 weeks to complete that. And then as soon as I complete this mini savings challenge, I will go ahead and start with a new mini savings challenge. So I've got 4 active savings challenges plus a mini, which is a lot. That's more than I usually do. I usually stay in the 2 to 4 range. But because I simplified my sinking funds, I decided that I want to go ahead and put more away towards savings challenges. So that is it. This is my full lineup for 2025 and I am so excited. I do not know if I'm even going to be able to stack it all up here, but we will give it a shot. This is it all together and I'm super excited to get started. I just want to say thank you so much for rooting me on, for being supporters, for supporting the channel and my shop. And I am so excited to get going in 2025 and get ready to tackle all of the goals that I have for the new year. And as always, as you are making your 2025 plans and you are setting your goals, just know that I am here, I am rooting for you, and I can't wait to hear about the progress and everything that you accomplish. As always, if you are on your own personal finance journey, just know that I am wishing you a simple budget, a calm mind, and a happy life. Thanks for watching and Happy New Year.